This episode begins with two kids named Jeff and Perch. They're in a band and struggling to find any inspiration. Perch is a metalhead through and through, complete with eclectic riffs, while Jeff is a sensitive wimpy boy who favors the synthesizer and seems like he'd be a perfect fit for Depeche Mode. They just can't seem to agree on what their sound should be. Other than that, Jeff's dad has a real kick-ass basement computer setup and one of those bulky satellite dishes that just screams, "I'm rich enough to have over 100 TV channels, please rob me." But the two of them are going to use it without his permission to illegally watch a WWF pay-per-view featuring Razor Ramon and Bret Hart as the headliners. I'm sorry, just Hitman. 2 words. Kinda funny that they can't get his name right considering Bret Hart is a Canadian hero and, as I've said on a handful of occasions, this is filmed in Canada. But that's beside the point, because our two heroes are about to willfully subvert strict international copyright laws to watch two grown men hit each other with limp and open fists for absolutely free. All Jeff needs to do is jump a couple security gates and uplink to the satellite. While he's doing that, Perch finds a binder detailing something called the Peabody Project, classified stuff involving deep space communication. Suddenly they're interrupted by Jeff's bratty little brother who ends up blackmailing him into making a banana split. But Perch starts sticking his nose where it doesn't belong by reading through the binder and initializing the project. The computers start running through a program that ends with a screenshot of our Milky Way galaxy. It asks for coordinates, so Perch just arbitrarily mashes the keyboard and presses enter. All that's left is to send a message. He figures the keyboard will work fine, so he decides to send a series of tones. Then he beams it across the universe.
She's so...
No, not that across the universe, just literally across the universe. And it's received on the other side of the galaxy in a matter of 8 seconds. I apologize in advance for getting scientific, but this has always bugged me. Now, the Milky Way galaxy is 1.5 million light years across, a light year being how far light travels in a year. Perch is sending a radio signal which cannot travel faster than the speed of light. Nothing can do that. That's why the aliens on Omicron Persei 8 didn't see the epic conclusion to Single Female Lawyer until 1,000 years later. So this signal would take 1.5 million years to reach whatever it's just reached. I'm sure it's for time convenience, plus I'm also sure the episode would be a lot less interesting if it involved a couple of skeletons. Perch suddenly receives a loud response, also in tones, which should take another 1.5 million years, but whatever, moving on. It turns out the parents come home earlier than expected, causing them to sloppily shut things down. The dad is played by the same actor that appeared in the other Are You Afraid of the Dark episode, The 13th Floor, except in that episode he was playing an alien-robot hybrid, yet he's more robotic this time as a human father.
Except you did the one thing we asked you never to do.
He says a line that I'm assuming is meant to be delivered with anger, but he says it like his cat didn't quite make it to the litter box.
Except you did the one thing we asked you never to do.
On top of that, the jerky younger brother rats him out by refusing to wipe the chocolate syrup off of his face. So later that night, when everyone is asleep, extraterrestrials finally arrive. The aliens make weird tones that drive the dog Montana out the constantly open back door and into a trap. The next day, Perch and Jeff have forgotten about that whole first contact with an alien race thing and are still arguing about what kind of lyrics they should write. They try to take inspiration from their real-life experiences. Turns out you can't write about what you know when all you know at age 16 is where the lotion is kept in your house and which websites aren't blocked. Later that night, the two go out looking for Montana and leave the little brother to play t-ball in the yard. But like almost every red shirt in Star Trek, he's quickly doomed. Perch and Jeff are still out looking until the aliens decide to play a little game with them.
Montana? Montana? Who's there? Who's there? That's not funny, man!
But them's fighting words for Jeff, so he angrily runs at the source of the noise and almost into another glowing spiderweb. They catch a brief glimpse of the creature entering some kind of thin door with no backside. After touching one of those wall-mounted closet lights, the door opens right up. They throw a dog toy in to test if it's safe, but it's thrown back right into Jeff's crotch. So the two of them bolt back to the house and into the basement to find all the computers on and 5 new messages received, the last one coming from Earth. Perch goes upstairs to continue the search for Jeff's brother, but gets snared in a trap himself. Now it's up to Jeff, whose only option is to speak softly and carry a big stick. He bravely jumps through the thin metal door and finds the 3 of them stuck in unbreakable tubes. Perch says that the aliens communicate in tones and a D-sharp is used to free them. Jeff runs back and records it on a boombox, then quickly returns.
Jeez, I hope they wipe down the tubes when they're done with them. Ugh.
But they aren't free for long, as they're soon surrounded by webs on all sides. The aliens turn out to be skinny, yellow, semi-transparent creatures capable of determining someone's language just by cycling through every language on the planet until one works. As it would happen, the original visitor is a kid looking to play. The song that Perch beamed out translates into "We are toys," and the tones that the alien child has been making means "I've come to play." The Mother Ex Machina apologizes for the inconvenience and teleports back to their ship. In return for not vaporizing the Earth, Jeff and Perch perform their first song for a very select audience, a song titled We Are Not Toys. Some of you might know how I feel about this particular song. I can really ramble about this episode because it's definitely one of my favorites. The concept of first contact always interested me, and when you think about how many stars are in the sky, most with planets orbiting them, the possibility of life out there isn't out of the question. Let's just hope that they're the family-friendly E.T. kind, and not the R-rated dissect and itemize your organs kind.